What's going on, everybody? Scott Leonard back here by myself. I'm here to do my World Cup and AEW Full Gear predictions. Let's get into those right now. We'll start with the World Cup, which starts on Sunday. I'm gonna go by I'm gonna go group by group and tell you which two teams are getting out of each group. So we'll start in Group A, where you have the host country of Qatar. You have the Netherlands, Ecuador, and Senegal to join Qatar in Group A. Top of the group's pretty easy. I think the Netherlands are easily going to win this group. The question that everyone has is who's going to be that second team out of this group. Sadio Mane has already said that he's not going to play in the first game, but I think he's going to play enough. I'm going to go Senegal to get out of this group, but I would not be shocked to see Ecuador get out of this group. But I'm going to go with Senegal somehow. I think Sadio Mane is going to play in that final game against Ecuador. And I think that Senegal will find a way to get through Group A and move on to the knockout stage. Now into Group B, you have England. The U.S. is in this group. Wales and Iran are also in the group. England obviously is winning this group. I think England's one of the favorites to win the World Cup this year. I'm going to go with the U.S. to find a way to get out of Group B. I think we've played well. I just don't think we played up to our potential going into the World Cup. We looked a little bit shaky in our last two warm-up games. So I'm going to go with the U.S. to get out of Group B. But we'll see what happens. It should be a fun group to look at as we move along. Next up, Group C, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland are in Group C. Obviously, you go with Lionel Messi and Argentina to get to top the group here. Messi already said this is his final World Cup, so we'll see how he does in his final World Cup. For me, it's between Mexico and Poland for the second spot. But I think Robert Lewandowski is going to be embarrassed with how bad he played back in 2014. Back in 2018, my apologies, back when the World Cup was in Russia. I'm going to go with Poland to get out of this group. I think Poland are going to do enough to get out of this group with Mexico, with Argentina and Poland getting out of Group C. Now into Group D, you have the defending World Cup champions in France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia in this group. I'm going to go with France and Denmark to get out of this group. But I would not be shocked to see Australia get out of this group either. But I think Christian Eriksen will do enough to get out of this group with Denmark. So I'm going to go with France and Denmark to get out of the group here in Group D. But it should be a fun group to look at as we get farther down in the group. So, yeah. Now into Group E, you have Germany, you have Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan in this group. In my opinion, this could be the group of death here in this group. This is a very tough group to get out of. I'm going to go with Spain and Germany to get out of this group. Germany's going to be very upset with how bad they played in 2018. Didn't even get out of their group in 2018 back in Russia. So I'm going to go with Spain and Germany to get out of this group. I think Germany and Spain are going to do well enough to get out of this group. So give me Germany to come in second and Spain to top the group here in this group. Next up, you have Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia in this group. I'm going to go with Belgium and Croatia to get out of this group. I think Canada is going to be good. I'm excited to see a couple former Orlando City players playing for Team Canada this year in the World Cup, but I don't think Canada's got enough experience right now to get out of this group. So I'm going to go with Belgium and Croatia to get out of this group. Croatia, your runners-up in 2018. I'm going to go with Belgium and Croatia to get out of this group here in Group F. Into Group G, you have Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Tough group to find that second team. Obviously, you go with Neymar and Brazil to win this group. I think Neymar is getting a little bit older now. He's in his third World Cup, so I think he's getting up there in age a little bit. So I'm going to go with Brazil to get out of the group. And I guess I'll go with Switzerland to get out of the group. Serbia and Switzerland, two very tough teams. I think they'll do enough to get out of the group. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Brazil and Switzerland to get out of the group. But I can see either one of these three teams getting out of this group here in the final spot. Now into the final group, Group H. Um, you have Portugal, Uruguay, South Korea, and Ghana. Again, an easy group to pick. Obviously, you go with Ronaldo and Portugal to top the group. Cristiano probably in his final World Cup with his age. And then I'm going to go with Uruguay to get out of this group as well. I think Uruguay is going to do just enough to get out of this group. Two teams I think could do very well in this World Cup. So I'm going to go with Portugal and Uruguay to get out of the group. And now into my AEW predictions for this weekend. Should be a fun weekend to watch some wrestling on Sunday. Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember what day it is. First up in the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Finals, Ethan Page, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and or Lance Archer will find that out Friday night on Rampage. I'm going to go with Brian Cage to finally get a shot at the AEW World Championship. I think he's probably the biggest name out of the group. So I'm going to go with Brian Cage to retain, to get a shot at the AEW World Championship. But I could see either one of these four guys getting a shot. Next up for the AEW Tag Team Championships, it'll be probably the most over thing right now in AEW, and the Acclaimed going against Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland. I'm going to go with the Acclaimed to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships because, like I said, they're probably the most over thing right now in professional wrestling. The crowd just loves them everywhere they go on tour with AEW. So I'm going to go with the Acclaimed to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Next up for the interim AEW Women's Championship with Thunder Rosa still out injured. I'm going to go with it's Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. I'm going to go with Toni Storm to retain the AEW interim Women's Championship because AEW just loves doing this. They love to see the interim champion going against the champion that had to drop the belt and become unify those two titles. So I think that's what they're going to do here as well. I'm going to go with Toni Storm to retain the AEW Interim Women's Championship, and unfortunately give 20 points to my buddy Stephen Battle in Fantasy Wrestling on that one. Next up for the Ring of Honor World Championship, it'll be the current champion Chris Jericho, who was just unmasked on The Masked Singer last night. That was pretty funny to see. Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara, and Claudio Castagnoli are his challengers. I'm going to go with Chris Jericho to win this match, even though I would love to see Bryan Danielson win the Ring of Honor World Championship and defend that title in December in Dallas when they go to Final Battle in December for AEW, for Ring of Honor. But I'm going to go with Chris Jericho to retain the AEW the Ring of Honor World Championship here at Full Gear. Next up for the AEW Trios Championships, it'll be Death Triangle, Pac, Pentagon Jr., and Ray Phoenix defending their AEW Trios Tag Team Championships against the returning Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite. I'm going to go with Death Triangle to retain the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships here. I think they're not going to let Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks get those titles back after with their first match back in a few months. So I'm going to go with Death Triangle to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships here. Next up for the TBS Championship, it'll be Jade Cargill defending against Nyla Rose. I think Jade Cargill continues to be undefeated in AEW. Still has not lost a match since debuting in AEW back in January. So I'm going to go with Jade Cargill to retain the AEW the TBS Championship here at Full Gear against Nyla Rose. Next up for the AEW TNT Championship, three big boys in this match. It'll be Wardlow defending the TNT Championship against Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe. I'm going to go with Wardlow to retain the TNT Championship. I think Wardlow's doing pretty well right now. We actually saw him get this title shot back in March here in Orlando at CFE Arena, back when he won the ladder match to get a shot at the TNT Championship. So I'm going to go with Wardlow to retain the TNT Championship here at Full Gear. Next up in a steel cage match will be Jungle Boy going against Luchasaurus. Should be a great match here. Luchasaurus, for all you reality television fans out there, that's Austin from Big Brother as Luchasaurus. So I think that's interesting to know. But I'm going to go with Jungle Boy to win this match. I think he finally gets his match against Christian. He's been waiting for this match ever since Christian and Luchasaurus turned on him a couple months ago. So I'm going to go with Jungle Boy to retain to get the win here in the steel cage. I think that'll be enough to get him a shot with Christian Cage somewhere down the line. Maybe in March at their next pay-per-view. But I'm going to go with Jungle Boy to get the win here in the steel cage against Luchasaurus. Next up, it'll be Saraya, formerly known as Paige, having her first in-ring action in 8 years since she was with WWE back then. She said a couple weeks ago that she's 100% healthy now, ready to rock, as she goes against Adam Cole's boy. I think they're still boyfriend and girlfriend, Dr. Britt Baker. I'm going to go with Saraya to get the win here. I think Saraya is probably one of the best talents in the women's division. And I think Tony Khan has made the right choice signing her to the AEW women's roster. So I'm going to go with Saraya to get the win here over Britt Baker in a very good match. Next up, Darby Allin and Sting going against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Should be a great match. I'm going to go with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to get the win here. I think they are going to do enough to get the win here. So I'm going to go with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to get the win here and continue this rivalry that's been going on the last couple of weeks here on AEW. And now the main event of the evening, the AEW World Championship match. Current champion Jon Moxley defending against MJF in New Jersey. Me and my buddy JT Dangerously were saying the same thing back in January, that we were saying that MJF was going to be world champion by the end of the year. So if he wants that to come true, he needs to win right here. So I'm going to go with MJF to get the win and finally become your AEW World Champion and defeat Jon Moxley at Full Gear, because this is the final pay-per-view of the year for AEW. So if he wants to become AEW World Champion by January, he's got to win here. So I'm going to go with MJF to get the win over Jon Moxley. And that will do it for this episode of Scott Sweden Sports. I'll be back next week with some more NFL and college football predictions. Rivalry weekend in college football next weekend. Should be fun. I'll be right back here next week with some college football and NFL predictions. And I'll see you guys right back here next week. See you later, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.